Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Football Talk with myself and Alex. Getting into Week 7 of the NFL. I don't really know that we have too much exciting news. Again, AB finally somewhat staying out of the news, but we'll talk just a little bit about him later. Nothing major, just some stuff going on with his grievance case. Otherwise, not a whole lot of news. We did miss.
I forgot about that, actually, until you brought it up.
Yeah. We missed the Jalen Ramsey trade last week because that happened hours after we recorded.
But we do have news over that, though.
Sort of, anyways. I don't know if I'd call it big news, but there's a little involving that.
Article.
Otherwise, if you didn't know, last week after we recorded, the Rams traded Marcus Peters to the Ravens for an undisclosed pick and a linebacker that I forget his name. He wasn't one of their main guys, but I don't remember who it was.
It was a compensatory.
And then the same Rams also traded 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick to the Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. That's basically what we missed last week because, well, it was shortly after we recorded.
Yeah, and apparently with an article I found last night that I sent to Cody, apparently the Chiefs did offer what the asking price was for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. According to the article, though, pretty much the Jags weren't going to trade him to any AFC team the way they talked, which is stupid because none of the teams he was interested in were a big rival for the Jaguars. It's not like he wanted to go to the Titans or the Texans or anybody like that, but they're like, no, we don't want him going in the AFC. So that basically left 2 of his options left, which was the Eagles or the Rams. Real glad he didn't go to the Eagles. I don't want to put up with him twice a year.
Yeah, but my big question is, do you think, like, I didn't get to watch the Rams game this week, but do you think that actually helps the defense at all? Like, it obviously would help.
I mean, it'll help, but I don't know.
Is it going to be that big of a change?
We'll see.
Because right now, they're struggling on offense, too.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Rams. It'll take more time for him to really get accumulated or get used to where he's at there until things really start to click, but we'll see what happens. But other than that, that's just some old stuff from last week. We're going to hop straight into our scores for the week, starting out with our Thursday night football game between the Chiefs and the Broncos. The Broncos had been on a 2-game winning streak. The Chiefs had been on a 3-game losing streak. Chiefs ended up pulling this one out 30-6. The defense looking a lot better. Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, going out early in the second quarter, but we'll have some news on that later when we talk about the injuries, what exactly is going on there. And, well, the Broncos just look completely inept on offense again.
Yeah, on a defense that they should have ran the ball on.
Yeah, but your run defense actually stepped up in this game.
Yeah, Frank Clark earned his paycheck this game on top of Ragland and whoever's on the other side. I can't think of his name right now.
Everybody. You all had like 9 different sacks in that game.
It was 9. We needed 3 more to break the franchise record.
Wow. Either way, good on the Chiefs there. Solid outing on both sides. Matt Moore stepped up. Didn't look phenomenal as the relief for Mahomes, but did what he had to for the win, which is all you want out of a backup. You just want them to do what they need to do. They don't have to be phenomenal.
No.
Just go in, play your game, get out with a W or at least a good fight, and we'll call it even.
Yeah, and like, even though we're not going to get a Rodgers versus Mahomes, like everybody was like hoping for this season, but by God, I think we're going to get a healthy Mahomes versus Tom Brady.
Yeah, which is more important. As cool as it would be to see him go up against Rodgers, you need him for Tom Brady later in the season. Also for postseason stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, and honestly, with him going down with the injury he sustained this week, it'll help him heal up that ankle that he's been dealing with anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So
they probably have him doing nothing.
Should be doing nothing. But getting into Sunday's games, we had a matchup between the Packers and the Raiders, and while the final score makes it look like the Raiders were outmatched the entire game, really the turning point was shortly before halftime because it was a close game until right before the end of the first half.
Dude, Derek Carr.
The final score ended up being Packers 42, Raiders 24. But right before halftime, Derek Carr goes for the touchdown, fumbles it before it crosses the play, and it goes out of bounds after crossing into the end zone, which is then a touchback for the defense.
Yep.
And that's completely what changed everything, because had he made that, it would have been, I believe, 17-14 Raiders.
Yes, they would have been
going
up
into the half.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, Packers get the ball. Aaron Rodgers does his thing. They go up 21-10 going into the half instead.
And then got the ball back at half.
Actually, no. Did they go 21 or was it 17?
No, they got the touchdown because they were talking about they were on like the 40, and they're like, well, Aaron Rodgers just get like a 10-yard dump pass to put Crosby in field goal range, and then all of a sudden 64-yard touchdown pass.
Well, there you go. But yeah, that was pretty much what turned the game for the Raiders. Before that, they were keeping pace. They were doing what they had to do to stay in that game. Right now, Derek Carr's biggest obstacle to being great is, well, Derek Carr.
That
not saying he's
just
bad.
Him either, because there was 2 other times that they were on like maybe the 3 or 4, and they couldn't get it in either and turned it over.
Yeah, again, this was the second time that exact thing has happened to him, though. He's gone for the touchdown, fumbled it out of the end zone, and gave it to the defense.
Yep.
Not saying Derek Carr's bad, but he has to know when to not go for it.
Very bad decision making.
Yeah. He's had some.
Josh Jacobs left the game too, didn't he?
No, Josh Jacobs was fine. He might have left for like a series or two, but ultimately he came back, was fine.
Okay, because I knew after
looked just fine. I mean, he's going to be a young star for that team for years, I think, as long as he doesn't get like a major injury. Had a matchup between the struggling Rams, who had been on a 3-game skid, and the really struggling Falcons. Rams come out on top 37-10, so they got back on track. Falcons, I can't fix you. I don't know what's going on,
and
dude.
You can't fix yourself because of what just happened either. So.
No, we'll get into that, though. We had a matchup. It looks like a real ugly matchup on paper. It was the Niners versus the Skins. Niners coming out on top 9-0. While that sounds really bad, if you didn't watch that game, you don't understand. Like, I saw clips from this game, and it was like a monsoon the entire game. Like, that field had so much water standing on it.
Were they at San Fran?
No, they were in Washington. It was raining so hard there. So after you watch some, like when you watch a player slide for 20 yards on the ground.
Oh my God. Who did that?
One of the Skins players. One of the Redskins guys was going after Jimmy Garoppolo, missed, and you just see him slide with him the whole way. Like, when you see players slipping like that, it's really hard to do anything. So while Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers didn't look great, I can't blame him when it's hard to, one, throw the ball, even harder to catch said ball when it's as wet as that thing was. Like,
I wonder,
you couldn't even dry it off because 2 seconds later it's going to be soaked again.
I wonder how were the field goals like good field goals, or were they ugly, like super close range ones?
Some of them were pretty close. Some of them were a little bit out. I mean, there were only 3 of them. There were 4 kicks. He missed. Robbie Gould did miss 1, but overall, I mean, the Niners did what they had to win. Yeah. They beat the Skins. Was it pretty? No. Was it a win? Yes. So, Niners, you're still undefeated. 7-0 or 6-0. Sorry, you had your bye already.
The only competition they have in their division at this point, because they played the Rams twice already, it's the Seahawks.
No, they haven't. They haven't played them twice.
Oh, they haven't played them twice
There's no way they've played them twice already. In 6 weeks for them, there's no way they've played them twice.
And the Rams must be their closing division game then.
It might be, and it might be in like another couple of weeks, but I doubt they've played them twice.
I don't think they play them that close. So they got the Rams and Seahawks one more time, and that's honestly they might go undefeated if
who else is in that division?
At Arizona.
Oh yeah, Arizona's on a 2-game win streak, but I'll get to that in a second.
Do you think Arizona can beat the 49ers?
I mean, any given Sunday, man. I didn't think the Jets could beat my Cowboys last week, and lo and behold. So, while
I will say
realistically, no,
I
I don't think so, but it's
they
possible.
They didn't prepare for Sam Darnold to come back, is what I got out of that.
No, we shouldn't lost that. But either way, had a NFC North matchup between the Vikings and the Lions. Vikings coming out on top 42-30. Another big day for Kirk Cousins after getting called out by just about everybody.
Yeah, but that game was a lot closer than what the score sounded too.
Yeah, it was a back and forth matchup until about the end of the fourth when the Lions failed to convert and the Vikings put up another touchdown.
Yeah.
So it was a close game. Final score, 12-point difference, looks bigger than what it really was.
Yeah.
Had a matchup between AFC South opponents between the Colts and the Texans. Jacoby Brissett looking at Deshaun Watson and going, you beat Mahomes? So did I. I'm going to beat you today.
Yeah.
Colts winning 30-23. So good job, Jacoby Brissett, keeping them Colts rolling without Andrew Luck.
But I also look at him like, you know what? I feel all right that the Chiefs lost to two opponents that are fighting for division lead as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Well, the last few years, the AFC South had kind of been a laughing stock because, well, you have the Jaguars, the Titans, the Texans, and the Colts. The Colts last year got off to a really bad start, got hot, and tore it up there at the end. The Texans have kind of, until this year with Deshaun Watson still kind of getting over that injury last year, and years before that kind of always had been
Well, they now have a line for Deshaun Watson somewhat.
Yes. And then the Jaguars, other than the 1 year they made a run at the Super Bowl, were always kind of blech. And then, well, the Titans are the Titans.
Yeah.
So it's good to see two teams, at least right now, fighting for that division. Once Nick Foles comes back, maybe a third in that mix. Right now, that's a tough division, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and Gardner Minshew isn't no slouch either.
No, but some of that magic is kind of dissipated.
Well, yeah,
not that he's not still doing. Not that he's not still doing decent, but some of the Minshew mania has died off a little bit now. Not that it still isn't going, but not quite the hype he had.
That's true.
Had a matchup between Gardner Minshew's Bengals and the Jaguars, not the Bengals. The Jaguars and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Jaguars coming out on top 27-17. This one, I honestly thought the Bengals almost were going to win it early in the game. Minshew was struggling early, kept his poise, and went on a tear after halftime.
Yeah, but so was Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton threw. I guess he had two touchdowns. He had one throwing and one receiving. Or running.
Yeah.
But he also had a pick.
Yeah. I don't know if Minshew did or not. I don't know. He struggled a little bit, like I said. That game early was looking ugly on both sides. And then Minshew put together some long drives, got his groove going, pulled out the win. Getting into our next game, we have the Kyler Murray-led Cardinals versus the Daniel Jones-led Giants. Daniel Jones not coming out with this win. Kyler Murray says, we going on a 2-game win streak, boys. Cardinals come out on top 27-21.
Didn't they lose David Johnson this game, though?
No. Coming into this game, David Johnson had been dealing with some minor injuries and stuff, kind of had tweaked some stuff. They put him in for one run, and basically were like, okay, you know what? We're not going to risk one of our star guys in a game that ultimately right now isn't a big deal for us.
Yeah.
So they pretty much pulled him, said, hey, Chase Edmonds, go for it, and had
didn't do bad at all.
3 touchdowns of 20-plus yards.
Yeah.
Like, his first 2 were both 20-yarders, and his third was at 22, so.
Now, do you think that they'll go with Edmonds until David Johnson's like 100% or close to it now.
It depends what they feel like that game, like what importance that game holds for them.
Because like I feel right now, if I'm the Cardinals, I want to just break even this season and then try to build my team around Kyler Murray in the future.
It depends what you think the importance of each game holds. If you think the next one is also not of huge importance, hold David Johnson out. Wait until he's healthy again.
Yeah.
If you think the next one holds some decent importance and you think he's doing okay, I'd go ahead and play him. But it kind of depends how Cliff Kingsbury sees each matchup right now.
That's true.
Getting into our next game, we had a matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins. Also, again, thought another losing team was going to win. Early in this one, the Dolphins had some fire to them. They were up 14-9 at one point. Bills end up pulling off the win 31-21, though this game was closer than it looks in the end. It was a 21-24 affair. Yep. The Dolphins had just scored, kicked an onside kick, and lost in the most Dolphins way possible because I didn't think you could return an onside kick for a touchdown, and the Bills freaking did it. Micah Hyde said, "Yo, watch me go to work." Grabs this onside kick, does a little spin move midair, and just takes off.
You know what's funny? There's actually a really famous another onside kick that's like top 10 onside kicks that the Bills returned for a touchdown.
Really?
Yes.
So they've returned
like
two.
So
you don't see it often. Apparently the Bills have done it twice, though. Yeah, I saw, like, I'm looking at our fantasy stuff, and I look at, like, the scoring, like, breakdown, and it tells me Micah Hyde, 45-yard kickoff return. I was like, how do you return a kickoff 45 yards?
Onside kick.
Yeah, didn't realize that was an onside kick. I saw it, and I was like, oh, so the Dolphins lost in the most Dolphins way possible this year, because that was sad.
Do they play Cincinnati?
Unfortunately, I don't think we get a Tank Bowl 2.
Dang, that would be awesome.
It would be, but yeah. Bills come out on top, 31-21. Josh Allen, not looking spectacular, but doing what the team needs him to do. I mean,
he's clearly not the answer, right?
I don't know. He's consistent. I mean, it's not like he's horrible, but he's not great.
Yeah, but for that Bills defense, you gotta have an offense to complement it, and like
he's put together some decent drives. Like. He
hasn't won the games they need him to win, though, is what I'm trying to say.
They've only lost one game.
That one game was important.
It was close, too.
Well, he's got a chance. They play, week 9, I think, after the bye.
I don't know. Something like that. They play them again. Either way, that was a close game. I don't know. I think you give Josh Allen some more time to develop because he's taken major leaps and bounds from last year, I think. And
from Arizona, right?
No, he's been with Buffalo his whole career.
I'm thinking of Josh Rosen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Rosen didn't play this game.
No.
Allen, though, for the Bills, between last year and this year, I think has taken major steps forward. He still doesn't look like what you want a franchise quarterback to look like, but he hasn't looked that bad either.
No.
Like, he's looked okay.
Who's their running back up there?
Frank Gore?
No, the backup. Behind Frank?
Singletary?
Singletary.
Yeah. Because Frank Gore is like, yo, you a young guy, you think you're taking my job? Sit down, boy. Because Frank Gore is the ageless wonder that keeps on trucking. God.
How many yards he had this game?
Not great, which was a little disappointing. Like he had like 50-something, which...
He's still tacking on numbers for those.
Yeah, I think mostly just because they weren't running it that much as a whole, though. But either way, outside of that Bills-Dolphins game, we had a matchup between the Titans and the Chargers. Titans deciding, you know what, we're done with Mariota. Ryan Tannehill, step on up and see what you can do. And Tannehill said, okay, I'm going to win this game. Yep. Titans pulling off a win over the Chargers 23-20.
You know, I bet the Dolphins are actually kind of kicking themselves for letting Tannehill go.
They tried for a while with him, and it
worked for the most part. They were never this bad.
No, but I also don't think Tannehill would have been doing much better right now.
No, granted, there's a lot of other problems there, but...
The Chargers, Honestly,
I don't
this game is pretty much a sum up of the Chargers season right now because they should have had at worst, this should have gone to overtime. They were down like within 10 yards of scoring, either to win the game or to kick a field goal and tie it up. And instead, they don't do either of those and lose by 3. I don't know what happened, but Chargers, y'all need to get your crap figured out.
Or not, I'm okay with it too.
Well, yeah, for you Charger fans, get the crap figured out. We had a matchup between the Ravens and the Seahawks. Ravens newly acquired Marcus Peters, already paying huge dividends for them.
Yeah.
Ravens coming out on top, 30-16. Marcus Peters with a pick 6 for him.
You know, I think we were right on giving him that safety. And
yeah, look what happens when he gets a safety that knows what he's doing.
yeah.
Marcus Peters, though, is one of those guys, if you haven't been following football much, but you know his name, is one of these guys that he has a very high-risk, high-reward kind of play style. He doesn't go for...
not even that. On top of that, you better be a good franchise. If not, you're going to hear about it in the locker room, too.
Yeah. He's had some issues in the locker room, but even outside of that, he's one of these guys that instead of making the play to stop the receiver from moving forward or whatever, he doesn't go for the tackle. He goes for the ball like 90% of the time.
Every time.
So either he's going to get you the pick or he's going to give up a huge play unless he's got safety help.
Yep.
And right now, having Earl Thomas as his safety to back him up, I think he's doing fine.
Yeah, probably, arguably the best safety, arguably.
Yeah. Though for you Ravens fans still thinking Lamar Jackson is great, look at his stats, and I'm going to tell you otherwise because he went 9 of 20 on the day, which is bad, and he almost ran for as many yards as he threw for. The man ran for like 114 yards, threw for 143. I don't care what you say. He is not a passer. He will never be a great passer. He's this young, exciting dude to watch. Y'all need to temper expectations because he's not going to be that. And stats show it.
With him being a running quarterback, too, because that's what he is. I understand that. I'm not going to dog him as much as you are, but y'all better hope he doesn't get hurt because behind him is a
running quarterback.
Not as talented running quarterback in RG3.
Well, I'd say he was at one time.
At one point, he could throw the ball, but I don't know if he can do that anymore either.
Yeah, RG3, I would argue, was just as good at one time. And then he blew out that knee and had...
For the second time.
Gruden, who basically was like, yeah, I don't like you, so screw you. And it kind of ruined his confidence.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I dog on Lamar Jackson a lot because there's so much hype behind this kid, and the stats don't show the hype behind him. Look at what he does as a quarterback, and the only reason he's doing so well is because of the running. Eventually, he's going to turn into Colin Kaepernick, where people are going to figure it out, and it's going to stop everything. Because once people figured out Kaepernick, he couldn't do anything. His best weapon was his legs. So, I dog on him a lot because I don't think he's worth the hype that he has.
I can see it. I think he also is arguably a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Maybe total skill set, but passing-wise, no.
Oh, as an overall quarterback, I think he is. That's why I don't dog him as much.
I'll give him that, but when a team figures you out, you're going to struggle, which teams have figured him out. They just can't. By stopping his passing, they're like, well, shoot, that opens up the run. Like, we can't stop everything.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's still doing so well is because he can run for 100 yards every game.
Yeah, which
also
stinks because he has a top 3 running back.
Yeah, Ravens, use Mark Ingram.
Oh, my gosh.
Why are you not?
He's 6 foot, 250 pounds. He's a tank.
Yeah, you guys grabbed this guy from the Saints in free agency who you know is one of the best running backs out there right now. And he barely touches the ball because, Lamar Jackson decides, I'm going to run it more than our star running back.
And honestly, if Mark Ingram was a car, he's at like a 2015 with less than 1,000 miles on him because the Saints did him by committee.
Yeah.
So there's half the leverage on him right there.
Yeah. use him more. Like, I don't know. Ravens are still doing what they need to win, but I think they need to look at their game plan and change some stuff up.
Yeah, like run the ball.
Yeah.
And that's not because I have Mark Ingram on my team. I'm just saying Mark Ingram ran for every game they've won, probably besides this one. He's had 100 yards almost.
Yeah. Getting into our last one before the Sunday night game between the Saints and the Bears. Final score way closer than it ever should have been. Saints come out on top 36-25 over the Bears. Teddy Bridgewater now 5-0 without Drew Brees starting. That game was not that close, though.
No.
They were up like 36-9 at one point in this game. And the last couple minutes, the Bears were like, well, it's garbage time. Now I'm going to look good.
Yeah, Chase Daniels didn't look good at all.
It wasn't Daniels. It was Trubisky.
I thought it was Daniels.
Nope.
Though. When did Trubisky come back?
This game.
Clearly, I didn't watch it. Well, maybe they should have switched.
To you Bears fans out there, Deshaun Watson warned you. When he got drafted, he said, if you take anyone before me, you're going to regret it. Y'all took Mitchell Trubisky before Watson, and you're regretting it. Trubisky is not the answer.
Could you imagine what Deshaun Watson's numbers would look like behind that Bears line?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, my God.
The Bears fans, to make it even worse, Mahomes was also still on the board because y'all traded up to take Trubisky at number 2.
Yeah, because we took him at, 5?
No, it wasn't that early.
We had to trade up 2 to get
You traded up, but it wasn't that early. You didn't trade into the top 5. Either way, you missed out on both Watson and Mahomes. Grant, I'll give you Mahomes. I don't think anyone expected him to do what he's done. But everybody knew Watson was going to, and you're like, no, we're taking Trubisky instead.
When we talk about that, I have some more input down about Mahomes.
All right. But we've got our Sunday night matchup, which was between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Cowboys on a 3-game skid. The Eagles, I believe, just on a 1-game loss. At this point, Doug Peterson saying, hey, we're going to go down to the Cowboys' home, and we're going to come out with a win. And the Cowboys said, yo, Doug Peterson, shut your trap. Coming out with a 37-10 win.
Yeah, y'all decided to play.
Yeah. Grant, it helped that we had basically our entire offensive line back because we were missing like 2 of our guys last week. We had Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb back. Though we did lose one of our star guys from the game, shouldn't be long-term, but we had a bunch of pieces back that we were missing, but either way, we shouldn't looked as bad as we did against the Jets. But we bounced back big against a divisional opponent, so I'll take it.
No, that was the Eagles, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, the Eagles are struggling. I don't know what's up with them, but
I can tell you what's up. That defense.
It's not even. They put up 10 points.
Well, who they also throwing the ball to?
I mean, Alshon Jeffrey was healthy, and he got the ball like once.
That's the only person, though. The other person you got, Zach Ertz.
Dallas Goedert is a good tight end, too, for him because he was putting up numbers all night.
And then your other wide receiver drops the ball more than he catches it.
Aguilar is a conundrum for me because when he first got in the league, he had issues dropping the ball. And then he fixed those issues and started doing well. And now he's back to dropping the ball.
You know what he reminds me of? Do you remember The Replacements, the Keanu Reeves movie?
Yes.
Remember Orlando Bloom's character? Because he was like super fast, wide open wide receiver, but he can't catch.
Yeah, that's basically Aguilar. But see, Aguilar had fixed that. Like, there for like 2 or 3 years, people were like, oh, Aguilar's fixed his dropping issues. And now he's back to dropping it. As much as I'm glad he's dropping it against us, it's still kind of frustrating when you watch the guy because you're like, what the crap, dude? Like, what?
Yeah.
How did you go back to this? I don't know. Still glad we came out with the win. Big win for the Cowboys. Unfortunately, now this makes it look like Jason Garrett could keep his job. That's the problem with Garrett is he'll get on the hot seat and then he'll look like he shouldn't be on the hot seat. And I'm like, just fire the man already.
Here's my question. Is it Jason Garrett or is it your offensive and defensive coordinators?
it's still on Garrett at that point.
No. What I'm saying is, who's doing better? Is it Garrett or is it more your coordinators?
I don't know. Either way, we need to fire Garrett. Jerry Jones, don't re-sign him.
I do say I really do like your defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We need to let Garrett walk. Our last matchup for the week between the Patriots and the Jets for Monday Night Football. Patriots coming out on top 33-0. Not really a surprise because,
Jets, you let me down. You let me down hard.
Alex and John both stupidly voted for the Jets to win this game.
Dude, I had faith in them. I was going to put some faith into them. And then I decided to, and now I am 1 game below 500 in the polls.
Nope, you're 2.
Or 2 games because John lost.
No. You're 3 because you were 2, and now you're back down to 3 behind because...
I should only be 1 game back behind John.
1 behind John, but 3 behind 500.
I'm all right.
No,
as long as
you're
I stay
2
in the
behind
middle and
500.
don't have to do anything.
You're 2 behind John. Because he was 500 going into this game. Well, I guess that means...
He had 2 losses. He had 2 losses. I only had 1
I'll
loss
have to
this
look
week.
at it again. Either way, I know you're 3 back of 500 because you were at 8-10 and now you're at 8-11.
I'm fine with that. As long as I'm not last, I'm good.
Either way, no one's surprised the Patriots won this. Their defense still putting up huge numbers because, well, they haven't played anybody that could actually give them a challenge. Like, look who the Patriots play and tell me that any of them were going to give that defense a challenge.
The only defense the only offense that gave them a challenge, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, is the Bills.
That offense didn't even give them a challenge. They put up 10 points against them. That's not a challenge for that defense.
The game in total was 16-10, though.
Yeah, that's because the Bills' defense gave the Patriots' offense a challenge.
I know,
not because the Bills' offense gave the defense a challenge.
Either way, though, if they would have got a touchdown, that game could have been completely different.
It could have, but I wouldn't say that was a challenge for the Patriots' defense. That was just, well, our offense didn't move the ball, so there's only so much we can do.
Week 13 will be something different then.
We'll see what happens. They've got a couple games that might give that defense a challenge, but right now who they've played is the only reason that defense looks as good as they are, I think, because they haven't played anybody that could rightfully be like, yo, we're going to challenge you.
I hate that, too, because, they literally... no offense to the teams they have played besides the Bills, because I count the Bills as, a top 10 team.
Right now, yeah.
They haven't played anybody.
No, because they don't ever play anybody. Patriots fans, y'all have the easiest schedule every freaking year, so suck it up and just admit that you're guaranteed to make playoffs. It's not because
you
you're
can't
good.
Talk either on easy schedule.
We've got a somewhat...
Yours is more difficult than the Patriots, but...
By far.
But yours was also easy up until, probably right now.
Sort of, but we also didn't expect it to quite be that easy to start the year. You knew the Patriots was that easy to start the year.
Oh, yeah, by far, yes.
The Patriots, y'all have one of the easiest schedules year in, year out. It ain't because your team's good. It's because, well, you get shitty opponents every freaking year.
And you're in the easiest AFC conference.
Yeah.
By far the
Admit your division is trash. If you didn't know already, I absolutely hate the Patriots.
I do too. You beat us on a coin flip.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else as far as scores go. Some injuries. Not any major ones this week. There were some ones that might have some people out for a little bit. Nothing huge, though. Nothing I don't think season ending.
One could have been.
Could have been. We'll get there. We had one. I guess the first one, we'll hop into that one first, since that was a Thursday night game. Patrick Mahomes dislocated his knee against the Broncos Thursday night.
On a freak accident play.
I mean, anything can be a freak accident. You could take a step and tear your knee up for all you know.
That's true.
He took a knee, basically the defender's knee kind of pushed into his. It dislocated Mahomes' knee. He'll be out a couple weeks. That's about all there is to it. It didn't tear anything up. It literally just dislocated, and that's a 3 to 4 week heal unless you're really... You push it maybe sooner. If you want to take your time and really let it heal up, maybe a little longer.
If I'm the Chiefs, and he's already had that banged up ankle on top of this knee dislocation,
I'd keep him out for 4 weeks.
Three minimum, 4 maybe.
Oh, he won't be back.
Depending who we play the 4.
I doubt he gets back before 3. I think that's the minimum he'll come back with anyways. I doubt he comes back in 2 weeks.
I'd like to see him against, because we have Green Bay, Minnesota, Titans. I'd like to see him against the Titans since that's an AFC team.
That's an easy game.
But then I'm also like, he could probably sit that one out. Because I think after that we have the Raiders.
That'd be more important.
Yeah.
I think, don't start him against the Titans because that's just dumb. The Titans are going to be an easy game, or at least it should be. I mean, look who they got quarterbacking that team.
True.
Getting into Sunday injuries, we had one of the bigger names with Minnesota Vikings receiver Adam Thielen leaving early with a hamstring injury. He's optimistic he'll play Thursday, so I don't think anything major. Probably tweak something, and the coach was just like, we're not going to test it. We're going to wait till the MRI and then go from there.
Yeah.
Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan tweaked his ankle and left in the fourth quarter. They haven't said anything more on it, so I don't know if it's major, if it's minor, like it's an ankle thing, and as a quarterback, I mean, could be like a sprain, and that's kind of Lions had both Kerryon Johnson and Darius Slay leave. Nothing major, I don't think, for either, but still some stuff they were just dealing with that was hard to play through. Texans lost Will Fuller and Tashawn Gibson. Will Fuller to hamstring, Gibson to a back. Again, nothing major, I don't think. I think just some minor stuff there. The Niners actually to have 2 guys in concussion protocol, or I guess one currently in, one that cleared it. Receiver Marquise Goodwin currently in concussion protocol for a head injury. Matt Breida was cleared from concussion protocol, but was then later evaluated for getting poked in the eye. So hopefully that's okay, because that always sucks when you get poked in the eyeball.
Yeah, what was it, dog pile?
No idea, dude. I didn't get to see that game. I mean, I guess the biggest injury we had for the week was probably Falcons running back Ito Smith. I think that's how it's pronounced. He actually got carted off with a head and neck injury, so we'll see what happens with that one. That's probably the biggest injury of the week. That could be really long-term. It could be short-term.
Or career-ending, depending on what you did.
Being carted off with a head and neck injury could be really bad. It could just be, you took a massive shot to the head, got knocked out, so we're not going to let you move. Who knows? Otherwise, nothing else really that big. I mean, I mentioned the Cowboys lost one of our star guys, Leighton Vander Esch, left with a neck injury and didn't return. But it wasn't anything major afterwards. He basically said it was the first stinger he'd gotten. Said he'll probably be good to go next week. He wanted to come back. Wasn't his decision. Coach decided to hold him out. Sean Lee doing what Sean Lee does. So, otherwise nothing notable of injury. Not even much player news. Like I said, I'm gonna mention AB just a little bit. He is currently filing a grievance against the Raiders and the Patriots, trying to get money he thinks he's owed. And then
good luck.
Yeah, especially after this week, they got text messages from the GM of the Raiders of Brown saying, "I want out," and that's pretty much going to hurt his case because good luck winning that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I have on AB.
He might be able to win his case if they can say that he was under mental duress.
No. Not when you got text messages telling them, "I want out." The only other, we had a milestone this week, only one. Matthew Stafford is now the fastest player to hit 40,000 passing yards, so good job, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, I don't know if that means they just weren't able to run the ball, which made him sling it forever, or
well,
what
they had
that
Calvin
means.
Johnson. Why not sling it?
I mean, yeah. But you also need a run game.
Well, we'll probably be talking about that one in the next 5 years, too.
We do have some trades that have happened after Sunday's game. So yesterday, the Texans traded for Raiders wide receiver Garyon Conley. I believe they traded like a third or fourth round pick for the
Raiders
guy.
traded that?
The Texans traded for him. The Raiders traded away Garyon Conley to the Texans for some pick. I don't remember who.
That's not No, that Conley's at the Jaguars.
Yeah. Sorry, cornerback. I don't know why I said receiver. They traded cornerback.
You knew how I was going with that, weren't you? Because
Chris Conley?
Conley's at the Jags. He left.
Yeah,
he got released from the Chiefs and went to the Jags.
Yeah, different Conley. This is Garyon Conley is a former first-round pick of the Raiders. Cornerback, I don't know why I said receiver. He's a defensive guy. They traded him to the Texans for a third-round pick. So, not a bad trade on either side there. I think he can help out the Texans a little bit, and I think that gives the Raiders a little bit of draft stock there in a mid-round. So,
yeah, but hey, people, get ready. Next Monday or next Tuesday's football talk is going to have a bunch of trade talk. Guarantee it.
We'll see. It might not.
Trade deadline's this week.
It is, but that doesn't necessarily mean a lot's going to happen. Some teams might be good with where they're at. Some might not be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Other trade, which literally happened probably about 10 minutes before we started recording. The Patriots have traded for Falcons receiver Mohamed Sanu for a second-round pick to the Falcons. Didn't want to see that one happen because I know Sanu's good and I don't want him on the Patriots.
Which begs the question, I wonder what they're getting ready to get rid of.
Who knows? I mean, they'll have to drop somebody to make room for him.
Yeah, so they're not dropping Edelman. Gordon.
Nope. Maybe.
Because that's his
but
job.
They've put but they might not even drop anyone on that side either. They could drop someone else.
That's true.
You don't necessarily have to drop someone in that position to sign someone in that position. Like, they could grab him and drop, like, a D lineman that they don't need.
That's true.
I don't know that they'll get rid of Gordon. They've put too much into him.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, didn't want to see Mohamed Sanu go there. I don't know if it's going to actually help anything, but it might.
I think the issue is getting the ball to Sanu, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Someone's getting a little old.
I guess the only other player news I have is that Demaryius Thomas pretty much called out the entire Patriots organization and said, y'all were a waste of my time because they had signed him in the offseason at final cuts, told him, hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to re-sign you. And then like 2 weeks later, they cut him. And he was like, seriously? He's like, I could have gone to the Jets right away, and instead I trusted you because you said you were bringing me back, and then you get rid of me. Like, screw off.
Well, that's kind of on him too. I wouldn't try putting a lot of faith in an organization that's built around building money. Don't put that much faith in it. You got to look out for yourself in an organization too.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about a coach who people had a lot of respect for, a guy that, you know, has been winning. As much as I don't like him, and I think he's got a big asterisk next to some of them wins because of the cheating, he is still, you know, a winning coach who has a lot of wins and has done well. And, I mean, at that point, I'd be like, okay, if coach tells me they're bringing me back, I'm going to believe him. And then when you get rid of me, again, it's like, why did I stick around? Like, you were a waste of my time at this point. Like, I could have been anywhere else in those 2 weeks than...
Where is he now?
The Jets.
So he's there.
But as much as you could say it's a waste of time playing for a bad team, at least you're playing, you're trying to help the organization, whereas the Patriots were like, oh, we're going to cut you, we know we're going to re-sign you, and then we're just going to get rid of you again. Like, you didn't do anything. What was the point?
Yeah.
Especially when they brought in Brown to get rid of you, it's like, really?
See how well that worked out.
Yeah. So I get his frustration there. I do. Otherwise, there was, again, not a whole lot of anything else going on. I mean, no noteworthy news. Oh, I guess for you Packers fans, Rodgers had his first ever perfect passer rating. Don't know how he hadn't before now, but he finally had a perfect passer rating in a game.
That blows my mind. I figured he would have had one by now.
Dude, I guess he was just shy in a lot of different games of it and finally got it. First Packer to ever do it. So, good job, Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, I don't think I've got anything else.
I only have a question. Like, do you think Mahomes' injury is going to affect his confidence in play?
Oh, no, not even a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to affect anything for Mahomes. He knows it's part of the game. He knows it's a minor thing. Like, he's still going to do what he does. And if he was a running quarterback, it might, but he's not. He is the kind of quarterback you want. He runs when he needs to. Otherwise, he's a pocket dude. Yeah. Well, I say pocket.
He's throw first.
Yeah. He's I'm going to throw the ball before I'm going to run it guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes not in the best way because he'll hang on to it too long sometimes, but you'd still rather that than a Lamar Jackson guy who dislocates his knee and then maybe doesn't do what he does.
Second question. Do you think the Madden curse is real now?
I don't ever think that curse is real. I think it's a bunch of baloney, and it's just coincidental more often than not because they've had plenty of guys that have not been cursed by it.
Only 5.
That's still a decent number.
Out of Madden's been around since 1999.
Yeah, but when did they say the curse actually started?
2003, Sean Alexander.
So, I mean, since 2003, I mean, I get it's been a while, but really hadn't been that long to really be like, oh, it's a curse. Like, I get May for a couple years straight at that point, but since then you've had multiple guys that have been like, oh, no, we're still playing at a high level.
True.
But that's about all I got. Alex, you got anything else for this week?
That was it.
All right. I think this is JC Radio, and we're signing out.
Peace.